is you've identified three key properties of ML workflows and infrastructure that dictate how successful deployments are.
Yeah.
What are they and why are they?
So we have these three V's. They're not even related, or we didn't even know about the big data three V's. Joe was telling Rolando and me, hey, there's big data three V's. Are you sure you want to make three V's? And then we were like, oh, shoot, we shouldn't make three V's. But then on second thought, we were like, I think it's cool if we say that we came up with these three V's independently because it kind of highlights the synergies between
Absolutely.
machine learning and traditional data.
Yep.
But these three V's are velocity, validating early, and versioning. And why did we come up with these three V's? We wanted some way to explain kind of best practices and pain points we were looking for patterns in what our interviewees said. And since we asked such open-ended questions, they're in the appendix, but we asked open-ended questions like, tell me about a bug you had last week, something that caused you things like that are so open-ended. They're so hard to extract patterns from. So it helped us to come up with these variables like velocity. People kept mentioning that they needed to iterate quickly on experiments because they had a large frontier of ideas to try and they wanted to see something that would give a production lift. So we wrote down like velocity, velocity, velocity. When we were looking through our codes at the end of the day, we were like, oh, when people are doing experimentation, they care about velocity. And it really resonated with us when we started thinking about MLOps tools. What makes an MLOps tool successful? Well, experiment tracking is a nice space because it really 10x's your experimentation velocity. Now, I don't have to go copy paste into Google Sheets and back. Maybe that works if I'm the only person working on my model. But at the moment that multiple people are working on an ML pipeline or model system, then it's super nice to centralize all of the experimentation we do so we can share the knowledge that we've had. So we had velocity for that. For validating early, a lot of people complained about the fact that at their organization, either too many bad models made it to production, or so that was like it was validating too late, or models were validated way too early and that they couldn't get anything to production. So for one example, in an autonomous vehicle company, the cost of deploying a bad model is so high. So they incorporated all these checks. They made evaluation take much longer. They decreased the velocity and engineers were grumpy. But at the end of the day, I think there's a quote in the paper that says that, we'd much rather gate the velocity if it means that we don't get failures on the road. So again, different tasks, they have different priorities and I think that's also why people keep talking about how like machine learning, it's not even generalizable. It's so different for different tasks. And when you think about it through the lens of these V's, it's not that if it makes total sense for different tasks, they just have different priorities. Some people prioritize velocity over validation if it's like a Rexus problem or something where the stakes aren't so bad if there's a failure.
For sure.
So in that sense, we really liked this kind of framework of evaluating tools, evaluating what people cared about. And as people who like to build tools ourselves, there's some tool ideas that I've had that now I can confidently say that, oh, this is really not a 10x improvement in people's workflows. It doesn't really help their velocity, it doesn't validate better, and it doesn't help people manage any more versions. So why bother? And I really like that way of thinking about it.